Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment you're standing at the summit of a mountain not because you were born at the top, but because you chose to climb. You chose the hard path. You chose to work out, learn out, speak everyone around you. That peak, it's not just a vantage point, it's a mission statement. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not just how I became a top 1% speaker, but why I had to. Because when your voice becomes your legacy, mediocrity is not an option from the very first time I stepped on stage. I made a covenant with myself. I will speak so that someone hears not just words but truth. I will speak so that someone sees not just movement but possibility. I will speak so that someone feels not just inspired but empowered to act. When your driving force becomes purpose above performance, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing applause, slides, metrics, and you start chasing impact, meaning legacy. That shift is the line between someone who speaks or acts for recognition and someone who speaks or leads. For transformation, picture this. You walk into a crowded room filled with expectant eyes and quiet phones, and your mind whispers, "Why am I here?" If your answer to that question is rooted in immediate performance, I want to look good, I want high engagement, I want viral clips, then your energy will be scattered, your message diluted, and the moment will pass you by. But when your answer is grounded in a deeper why, I'm here so someone leaves believing, someone else begins acting, someone's world shifts, then everything changes. Purpose brings clarity to your voice. It demands that you speak with intention, that every sentence carries weight, that every pause is purposeful. Performance may make you loud, flashy, rehearsed, but purpose makes you felt. You become less concerned with how you look and more concerned with what you deliver. You stop asking how will they rate me and start asking how will they remember this. When your goal is not to impress but to imprint, your presence becomes a vessel for something more than you purpose, also bridges you to your audience in a profound way. Performance creates distance, you stand on stage and they sit. Purpose creates connection, you stand alongside them, you look into their eyes, you share a part of yourself. When your skin and bones' reason for showing up is I want them to win, you stop performing to them, you serve with them. The energy shifts from you-centric to they-centric, and that changes the dynamic of every word, every gesture, every moment. There is a difference between message and mission. Performance wants to deliver a message that sticks. Purpose wants to deliver a mission that moves. So your rehearsal is not about polishing every line until it shines. It's about aligning every line with the cause you serve. You ask yourself, will this sentence uplift someone? Will this idea liberate someone? Will this pause give someone space to reflect? If the answer is yes, keep it. If it's only for applause, trim it, because purpose places an unrelenting filter on your content. Importantly, choosing purpose above performance also shapes how you handle pressure, feedback, failure. When you focus on how you look, you crumble when the slide doesn't work, the tech fails, or the crowd is quiet. But if you are rooted in why you are speaking, because you believe someone needs to hear this, then even silence becomes part of the rhythm. Obstacles become the proof that your message matters and your mission demands perseverance. When you speak for legacy, you don't retreat when performance falters. You relaunch, refine, and realign. This mindset elevates your discipline too. Performance alone asks for more hours, better lighting, sharper visuals. Purpose asks for more depth, more self-reflection, more authenticity, more alignment between your character and your message. You start measuring progress not only in audience numbers or applause, but in changed lives, in insight sparked, in commitment awakened. Your practice becomes less about perfecting how you speak and more about how you serve. You rehearse not just your delivery but your reason. You rehearse the narrative not just for effect but for impact, and as you live out purpose above performance, you begin to build a legacy. Performance is ephemeral. The standing ovation fades, the clip loses views, the moment passes. Purpose endures. The insight stays alive, the mindset gets passed on, the ripple spreads. You become less of a voice in the moment and more of a presence across time. Others may replicate your energy, but they can't replicate your why, because it's unique, it's yours. And that is the value no one else can copy. When you speak, act, lead with purpose above performance, you invite something greater than competition into the room. You invite collaboration, you invite meaning, you invite transformation. You become not just a speaker on stage, but a presence in someone's life. So ask yourself every time you stand up, speak out, lift your voice, is this about me or is this about them? Is this about temporary applause or lasting change? Choose the latter. Because when you do, performance becomes the byproduct, not the goal. And that is how you step into the top one. % legacy space. Every unforgettable message stands on two unshakable pillars: story and structure. One without the other collapses. Story alone is emotion without direction. Structure alone is logic without soul. But when the two come together, something extraordinary happens. The message stops being heard and starts being felt. It doesn't just pass through ears, it settles into hearts, rewires thinking, and lingers long after the words fade. Story is the heartbeat. It's the pulse that gives life to what would otherwise be a lifeless collection of points and facts. It's the bridge between your truth and their experience. People don't remember bullet points. They remember moments. They remember how they felt when they heard you. Story is what carries that emotion. When you tell a story, you're not showing off your experience. You're giving your audience permission to see themselves inside it. You take them from listening to living the message, but emotion alone isn't enough. That's where structure steps in. Structure is the skeleton that holds everything upright. It's the silent rhythm beneath your words. It's what keeps your story from being a scattered collection of feelings and turns it into a purposeful journey. Structure tells your audience, trust me, there's a destination, follow me, and you'll arrive changed. Without structure, your message might touch people, but it won't transform them. It might move them for a moment, but it won't move them to act. Story creates connection. Structure creates clarity. Connection without clarity confuses. Clarity without connection bores. But when the two dance together, you create a symphony that hits the heart and the mind at once. That's where persuasion lives. That's where transformation happens every time you speak. Think of your message as a path. Your story is the landscape, the colors, the emotions, the imagery, but your structure is the map. The audience must know where they're going, even if they don't realize it consciously. Begin with a hook. A story that instantly pulls them in. Make it real, raw, and relatable. Don't start with perfection. Start with struggle. Perfection inspires no one. People don't connect with the victory until they've seen the valley. When you show them the crack in your armor, they'll trust you when you talk about strength. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's credibility. After the story pulls them close, structure guides them upward. Every great talk follows a natural progression: the problem, the process, the promise. Show them the pain point, what's broken or missing, then lead them through the process, what you learned, how you changed, what mindset shifted. Finally, deliver the promise, the transformation that's possible for them. That's how you convert emotion into empowerment. The audience doesn't just hear what you did, they see what they can become. Think of structure like the melody beneath your voice. It tells people when to lean in, when to reflect, when to act. It gives the story rhythm and direction. The secret is to build your structure so tight that your emotion has room to breathe. You want enough order to keep clarity, but enough freedom to keep soul. That's what keeps a talk alive. Overstructure kills magic. Understructure loses meaning. You must live in the balance, guided yet genuine. When you blend story and structure, you stop performing and start transforming. Your talk becomes an experience. The audience isn't just consuming information, they're walking with you. They're climbing the mountain as you describe it. They're feeling the wind at the peak, the weight in the valley, the release at the breakthrough. That's what makes your message unforgettable. It becomes their story, not just yours. Behind every powerful communicator is someone who learned how to weave structure invisibly beneath story. It's not about sounding rehearsed, it's about sounding inevitable. Every line, every pause, every rise and fall of your tone exists for a reason. When you deliver a story within a solid framework, the message feels natural but lands with precision. That's how your words become architecture instead of noise, and the beautiful thing about mastering this balance is that it transcends speaking. Story and structure apply to life. Without story, life becomes mechanical, doing, achieving, repeating. Without structure, life becomes chaotic, feeling everything but progressing nowhere. Success lies in living with the same rhythm, emotion guided by purpose, authenticity held up by discipline. When you build your message, remember this: story opens the heart, structure opens the mind. You need both to move the soul. The heart listens first, the mind justifies later. If you reach the heart through story, structure will carry it to action. That's the blueprint of every movement, every revolution, every legacy that lasted beyond the moment. So every time you craft a message, ask yourself, what story will make them see themselves in me? And what structure will carry them from where they are to where they could be? Because when story and structure merge, you don't just speak, you lead. You don't just teach, you transform. You don't just tell stories, you build legacies. The moment you step on stage, the moment the camera light turns red, the focus must shift away from you. It's not about how confident you look, how polished your words sound, or how well your performance lands. It's about them. Every true communicator understands this unshakable truth. Your voice only matters when it serves someone else's breakthrough. That's the essence of an audience, first mindset. When you stop speaking to be heard and start speaking to make others feel seen, everything changes. The greatest mistake most speakers make is thinking the stage belongs to them. It doesn't. The stage belongs to the people listening, the people hoping for a word that speaks to the chaos inside them, the people searching for direction, courage, or belief. When you shift from self-focus to service focus, your energy transforms. You're no longer performing, you're connecting. You're no longer trying to prove something. You're trying to give something, and that difference is felt in every syllable and audience. First mindset begins long before the first word leaves your mouth. It starts with empathy. You must step into their shoes, feel their fears, taste their uncertainty, understand their hunger. Before you craft your message, you ask, what are they walking through right now? What do they need, not what do I want to say, because relevance isn't created by fancy words. It's created by understanding. When your message sounds like the voice inside their head finally found words, they trust you. That trust is the foundation of influence. Every audience carries invisible weight. Doubt, exhaustion, dreams they've buried. Your job is to meet them where they are, not where you wish they were. You don't speak above them, you speak to them. You don't posture as the hero of the story. You position yourself as the guide. They are the hero. You're there to hand them the tools, the mindset, the fire to fight their own battles. That shift in posture, humility wrapped in purpose, is what turns a speaker into a force when you live from an audience. First mindset, your delivery changes too. You listen while you speak. You study their eyes, their posture, their silence. You learn to adjust in real time, slow down when confusion appears, speed up when energy rises, pause when emotion fills the room. You're not reciting a script, you're holding a conversation. A great communicator doesn't just deliver a message, they dance with the audience. Every reaction is feedback, every expression is data. The best speakers don't control the room, they feel it an audience. First mindset also means removing ego from the equation. Ego says, look at me. Purpose says, I see you. Ego wants validation. Purpose wants transformation. Ego needs applause. Purpose needs alignment. The ego seeks attention. The mission seeks connection. When you remove yourself from the center of the message, your message grows bigger than you. It stops being a performance and becomes a mirror for others to see what's possible in themselves. The paradox is that the moment you stop chasing recognition, you start earning it. When people feel that your heart is for them, not for yourself, they give you their trust. And trust is the highest currency any communicator can earn. You don't buy it with titles or perfection, you earn it through authenticity and intention. When your message serves, your influence multiplies audience. First thinking also refines your preparation. You don't prepare to impress, you prepare to impact. Every example, every story, every word must answer one question. How does this help them move forward? You might love a story because it makes you look good, but if it doesn't add value to their journey, remove it. The discipline to edit your message through the lens of service is what separates professionals from performers, and here's the secret few understand. When you give fully to your audience, they give something back you could never script. You feel their energy lift you, their attention sharpen you, their emotions feed you. The more you pour out, the more you receive in presence and power. That's the invisible cycle of giving and receiving that only true communicators know. You give them truth, they give you belief. You give them hope, they give you legacy. Every time you speak, you hold the potential to shift someone's direction. Maybe it's one person in the back who needed to hear exactly that line you almost deleted. Maybe it's the young listener watching through a screen, deciding not to give up tonight. That's the power of an audience. First mindset, it reminds you that your words aren't just content. They're oxygen for someone else's faith. When you carry that awareness, you'll never treat the stage as a spotlight again. You'll treat it as a sacred responsibility. You'll realize the true test of your message isn't the volume of applause, but the volume of action it inspires. Did they feel something? Did they believe again? Did they take the next step? That's the metric that matters, and that's the beauty of this mindset. It turns speaking from performance into purpose. You no longer speak for attention, you speak for awakening. You stop performing for followers and start leading for transformation. You don't just hold a microphone, you hold a mirror that helps people see who they were always meant to be. When you understand that, you've already joined the top 1%. Not because you spoke louder, But because you spoke for them, true mastery begins when you learn to control your energy, not when you simply project it. Anyone can be loud, animated, or passionate for a few moments, but sustaining impact requires command. Energy isn't about volume, it's about vibration. It's the invisible frequency you bring into every room, every stage, every camera frame. The world doesn't respond to how hard you speak. It responds to how aligned your energy is with your purpose. When your energy is anchored, people don't just listen, they feel you. Energy under control is power without chaos. It's intensity without instability. It's the ability to ignite emotion while remaining centered within yourself. Because if your energy is scattered, your message is too. You can have the right words, the perfect delivery, even flawless confidence, but if your energy is frantic, the audience senses it before you say a single line. The unspoken always speaks first. The first step in mastering energy is awareness. You must become conscious of the state you're in before you step into any space. Energy leaks when you allow nerves, fear, or ego to run the show. Control begins when you decide that your emotional state will serve your mission, not sabotage it. Every time before I speak, I remind myself, I'm not here to prove, I'm here to pour. That sentence alone resets the frequency. It shifts me from anxiety to alignment. When you operate from purpose, your energy naturally steadies. The reason many communicators lose control on stage is because their focus is split. They're thinking about how they look, what people think, what might go wrong. But when you anchor your energy in contribution, none of that matters. You stop trying to impress and start expressing. That's when energy flows clean and strong. It's not forced, it's directed. Controlled energy is the art of channeling passion through discipline. It's like fire, it can cook or it can burn. Left wild, it destroys. Contained, it transforms. When you harness your energy, you become a conduit for clarity, not chaos. Your voice stops trembling. Your gestures become purposeful. Your presence sharpens. You stop overdoing everything and start embodying it. Many speakers confuse hype with energy. Hype fades. True energy sustains. Hype is external. Loud music, big gestures, temporary adrenaline. Energy is internal. Focus, conviction, emotional truth. Hype fades as soon as the lights dim. True energy follows you long after you leave the stage. People remember not what you said, but how your energy made them feel. To maintain control, you must learn to regulate your internal state. Breathing, posture, and mental focus are your tools. Before you speak, take a moment to breathe deeply. Ground your feet. Visualize calm power flowing through you. See the outcome you want to create, not the performance you want to give. Speak from your center, not from your nerves. The body always betrays the mind. Still the mind, and the body follows. Controlled energy is also about pacing. Many speakers lose their rhythm by rushing through their message, trying to fill every silence. But silence, when used intentionally, carries massive energy. A pause can hold more weight than a sentence. It's in the pauses that your audience catches up emotionally, that your message breathes, that impact deepens. Power lives in patience. When you slow down, your presence amplifies. You also have to understand that every audience has its own energy. Part of control is calibration, the ability to sense the room and adjust your vibration without losing your authenticity. Sometimes you need to lift the room with vitality. Other times you need to ground it with calm conviction. Control means flexibility without losing integrity. You lead the energy, but you don't force it. You meet the audience where they are and guide them where they need to go. True energy control also means managing what happens after you speak. High-impact moments can leave you emotionally drained if you don't know how to recover. Protecting your energy is as important as projecting it. Replenish yourself with silence, reflection, or gratitude. Without recovery, passion becomes exhaustion and inspiration turns to burnout. Longevity and influence requires sustainability, not sporadic bursts of enthusiasm. When you have your energy under control, you can shift a room with a whisper. You don't need to shout because your conviction carries the volume. You don't need theatrics because your presence commands attention. You can slow your speech, lower your tone, and the audience will lean in, not because you demanded it, but because your stillness feels powerful. Controlled energy creates gravitational pull. And here's the truth. When your energy is mastered, you no longer depend on external validation to feel powerful. The applause, the feedback, the numbers, they stop defining you. You carry your energy from within, and that makes you unshakable. Whether the room is full or empty, whether you're in front of a crowd or a camera, your vibration remains steady. That's what separates those who perform once from those who endure for years. Energy under control isn't about suppression, it's about direction. It's about transforming raw emotion into purposeful delivery. It's about turning nerves into excitement, pressure into presence, passion into precision. You're not here to explode, you're here to elevate. Because at the highest level, your words might inspire, but it's your energy that transforms. When you master it, your message becomes magnetic, your presence unforgettable, and your impact unstoppable. Growth isn't born in the spotlight, it's forged in the silence that follows. When the lights go off, when the applause fades, when the room empties and it's just you, that's where greatness is built. Consistent refinement is the discipline of champions. It's the relentless commitment to get 1% better every time, to look at your craft not through pride but through precision. It's knowing that mastery is never final, that the best are obsessed not with perfection but with progress. Refinement isn't about fixing mistakes, it's about elevating standards. It's the willingness to dissect what others would celebrate. While most people stop when they do something good enough, refinement asks, how can I make this exceptional? That question separates those who peak once from those who keep rising. Because if you're not growing, you're repeating. And repetition without evolution is stagnation disguised as effort. Every talk, every video, every sentence you deliver holds feedback within it. If you're humble enough to listen, the average communicator finishes and moves on. The great one finishes and reviews. They rewatch every moment, every pause, every reaction. They ask, did I land the message or just deliver it? Did I connect or just speak? Did I serve the audience or just impress them? The mirror of refinement doesn't lie, but it only reveals truth to those brave enough to look. Consistency is what turns refinement into transformation. Improvement isn't found in the grand overhauls. It's hidden in the small, daily calibrations. One tweak in your tone, one change in pacing, one new story told better than before. Stack enough of those, and you become unstoppable. Most people overestimate what they can fix overnight and underestimate what they can refine over a year. But the elite, they know small hinges swing big doors. To refine consistently, you must kill the need to be right. Ego is the enemy of evolution. The moment you start believing you've arrived, you stop listening, you stop learning, you stop growing. True mastery requires humility. The understanding that no matter how far you've come, there's always another level. Refinement is for those who can celebrate progress while still being dissatisfied enough to keep pushing. That's a delicate balance, proud but not done, grateful but not settled. Refinement demands self-awareness. It's about knowing your tendencies, when you rush, when you repeat, when you play safe, and then deliberately disrupting them. Every habit that once served you can become a limitation if you never upgrade it. What got you here won't take you further. The tone that worked last year might not resonate today. The world evolves, the audience evolves, and so must you. Consistent refinement keeps you relevant, sharp, and alive. This process isn't glamorous, it's repetitive, it's slow, it's filled with moments when you feel like you're not improving at all. But those invisible hours, those unseen revisions, those late-night rewrites, those are the bricks of greatness. Every masterpiece is built in private long before it's unveiled in public. When you refine daily, you're building a foundation so strong that no stage, no setback, no storm can shake it. And here's the truth, refinement is not punishment, it's privilege. It means you care enough about your craft to honor it with excellence. You don't refine because you're inadequate. You refine because you're invested. You're not chasing validation. You're chasing your own potential. That shift changes everything. The process stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like purpose. Consistency in refinement also builds trust with your audience. They can feel when you're evolving. They can sense when you're not recycling old energy but showing up sharper, deeper, more authentic each time. That consistency earns loyalty. People follow those who grow in front of them because it gives them permission to grow too. Your evolution becomes an invitation for theirs. The secret is to make refinement a rhythm, not a reaction. Don't wait for failure to evaluate. Don't wait for a bad performance to learn. Build review and reflection into your lifestyle. After every delivery, ask, what worked, what didn't, what will I do differently next time, then execute. The magic isn't in the analysis, it's in the application. Thinking about improvement changes nothing. Acting on it changes everything. Over time, consistent refinement shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself not as a performer but as a craftsman. You understand that excellence isn't an act, it's an attitude. You stop chasing perfection because you realize perfection doesn't exist, it evolves. The pursuit itself becomes your fuel. You start falling in love with the process, not the praise, and when that mindset clicks, you become unstoppable. Because while others chase the spotlight, you're building skill in the shadows. While they wait for opportunities, you're preparing for them. Every small refinement compounds until your growth becomes undeniable. People will look at you and call it talent, but you'll know it was discipline. It was the commitment to refine every day, no matter what. So keep sharpening, keep adjusting, keep rising, because consistent refinement doesn't just change how you speak, it changes who you are. It turns potential into power, ability into artistry, and moments into legacy. So I challenge you today, go beyond the platform. Let your voice become the bridge between now and the version of you that future you would thank. Step up, speak out, and build a legacy that echoes far beyond the standing ovation. Because when you speak like you mean it and live like your voice matters, you don't just join the top 1%, you lead from it. Thank you.